Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Double. I appreciate you being here. Today we're going to look at the M-VAVE, M-VAVE. I'm going with M-VAVE today. Mini multi-effect pedal. Recently I looked at the mini preamp. I have that on the board here. We're going to run this into the mini preamp. We're going to stack them, right? But I'm only going to use one of the preamps. I'm going to use the cleanest, most full range one, and we're going to run it into the return of my Marshall. I'll feature the mini preamp going into the Marshall on another video. So if that's your kind of thing, make sure you subscribe. You guys really seem to like that last M-VAVE video that I did about the mini preamp. If that's your kind of thing, make sure you give a little subscribe to my small channel here. I would really appreciate it, and I'd love it if you would join us in our explorations of nice, inexpensive gear. M-VAVE effect pedal mini. What is this? Mini effects pedal. Okay, so it's not like a bunch of different effects. The mini amp is actually a mini preamp, okay, and like this mini effect is more like a multi-drive. We'll take a closer look. You know how we do it here. If you don't, you're about to see. And you get a manual that, yeah, I can't read that. You get a manual if you could read that, good. If you look here, you got your boost as slot number 1. And then 2, 3, 4, and 5 are going to be different overdrives, TS style, blues style, DB, and then amp overdrive. And then you got some distortions. So I plugged it in to make sure it works, and it does. There's several different ways that they recommend you can set this up. You can use it as a preamp, but today we're going to use it as a distortion pedal driving their mini preamp, okay? So this will be like running a drive into an amplifier is basically what we're going to be doing today, but we're going to use their preamp on a nice clean setting. Okay, real quick, I'll tell you just how I have this set up now. I'll hide myself. I have tuner, phaser, and then I'm hitting the 2 drives of the Mosky coming out of the send into a slow hand, which is like a slow gear, into the mini effects from M-VAVE, then BEOD Demon Effects, and then we're going into the M-VAVE Mini Amp, which is really the mini preamp, okay? And then I have Cabinet Simulator off because after the M5, I'm going directly into the return of my Marshall. I'm hitting a Mesa cabinet. I do have a touch of reverb and just a little delay from the Mosky, which is after all of that. Okay. I'm going to shut up. That's cool. My Marshall doesn't normally sound like Vox being boosted by a blues driver. So that's a nice set of options in there. Some of those distortions, okay, I'm kind of picky about my distortions, you know what I mean? Like I kind of want certain things from a distortion, and a couple of those distortions to me had too much of the clean mixed through, like a tube screamer does. My favorite sound in there probably is this blues drive, and then finding a nice preamp to mix it with. Going over to the M-VAVE Mini preamp, Mini Amp pedal, and pulling up number 3 and then distortion number 3. You know, I kind of came up with a nice little match, adding some tremolo to it, just give a little ethereal feel, even maybe just a little more reverb. The obvious thing here is getting some choices together. If you have the two pedals, then they're going to work real well together. You run it like you would your amplifier and a distortion pedal. I would run the Mini EFX multi-distortion first into the Mini Amp or the Mini Preamp, okay? And then I'm using power amps and speaker cabinets. You can also use a cabinet simulator and run directly to your recording setup, and get the effect of stacking drives into amps. Right now, I'm even feeding that sound that I was just getting was the blues driver, and then just a touch of drive from the Mosky, just a little bit of the overdrive there. So I have 2 drive stages and then a slightly driven amp, getting a completely different sound than what my Marshall would normally sound like, and a noise gate to kind of keep it clean. So different effects, that's fun. And the cheap way is the way, right? I mean, I think so. I think going cheap is the way. That's an enjoyable little selection of effects. I like the drives. I actually like the overdrives a little more than I like the distortions. And I like not really knowing what they are. I don't know what I'm listening to. I don't know what it's supposed to be replicating. The names of them are on the bottom of the thing. So I'm not like sitting here thinking to myself, it doesn't sound like what it says it's supposed to sound like. I just kind of am trying to use it to dial in the sounds. And hopefully that's something that you would want to do. Buy this and try to actually just kind of come up with your own set of sounds. Use this in conjunction with what you already have, or, you know, start to build up a small, affordable rig. This is not an expensive board, and the key components that we were listening to were not very expensive. Make do with what you got, and this is a nice little way to augment. Maybe if you have a rig that doesn't sound quite like you want a tube screamer, but you don't have the money for a tube screamer, and you want a blues driver, but you don't have the money for a tube screamer and a blues driver. This is an option. Takes a little while because you got to get it from AliExpress. I've been enjoying the AliExpress thing. I have something really fun coming from them. I'm going to go through in another video, kind of stacking these a little bit more into the Marshall here. Subscribe so you can follow along with the next set of videos that are coming out about getting affordable and getting sounds out of affordable stuff. So anyway, this was my look at the M-VAVE Mini EFX multi overdrive distortion booster pedal. It's got a panda on it, so it's cool. All right. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. I really do. I hope you all are doing well. Please consider subscribing. Man, I'm tired. It's been a long day. I'm like really tired. Oh.